Good.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Monica?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am
You
I
are
audible?
audible. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are clearly audible.
Yeah, start for.
Sir, just a minute. Sir, participants are joining. Ornav Setia,
Yes, sir.
allow all participants to join
Yes, sir.
and share the YouTube link.
Yes, sir. It's already done.
Okay. Jijan Sharma, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I'm hearing.
May I start?
Yes, sir. It's already done.
Ornav Setia,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, one and all. Presence in the today's webinar on the topic children's mental stress and role of parents. Namaskar. This is Janata Kolita, SOD of Education, Masbat College, and joint convener of this webinar. Welcome you all to this online platform. Now, we will proceed Thank you all. Respected participant, we everybody know that children may respond to stress in different ways, such as being more clingy, anxious, withdrawing, angry or agitated, bedwetting, etc. So respond to our child's reactions in a supportive way. I think we the parents need much knowledge. So we should try and keep children close, separating them. This is not enough. So to support them, especially during this crisis, we need much more knowledge to really ease out their stress. So that is why we have selected this topic and invited such a renowned senior consultant and psychiatrist from Guwahati, Assam, to discuss the topic, who has more than 30 years of experiences in this field. So before inviting the resource person of today's webinar, I would like to introduce and announce the name of the organizing committee and request all of you to introduce yourself. I'd like to announce the name Dr. Dilip Hazarika sir, Principal, Naoboisa College. Sorry, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I am here waiting. Audible?
Okay.
Are you audible to
Yes,
me?
yes, yes.
Okay.
And
Yes, sir. Yes.
we, among us, as the member of the organizing committee, Mr. Dijen Sharma, Associate Professor of Education from Masbat College. Sorry, Naoboisa College.
Yes.
And Mr. Madhav Bora, Associate Professor of History and Joint Convener of this webinar. Mr. Madhav Bora sir, please introduce yourself. Madhav Bora sir, can you hear me? And we have Mr. Hamidul Rahman, Assistant Professor of Philosophy from Masbat College. So we, all the members of the organizing committee, on behalf of all the members of organizing committee, I'd like to request and invite Dr. Dilip Hazarika sir from Naoboisa College for address the welcome speech. Sir.
Thank you very much. I am Dr. Dilip Hazarika, Principal, Naoboisa College. At the very beginning, first of all, I should say good afternoon to all the respected resource persons, Dr. Jayanta Das, Principal, Pradeep Sharma, Masbat College, Jayanta Kolita, and Mr. Madhav Bora, coordinators of the respective college. I should say, first of all, the thanks to all the participants who are participating in the webinars program. The topic that has been taken up for discussions today is not only a significance, but also very important in the sense that the science kind of topic is very important in the present competitive world. The friends, it is true that nowadays our students are in tension, or you can say in the stress manner. The positive rule, particularly the mentality of the parent, the attitudes and the emotions of the parents are very significant. While we were tackling the mental states of our students. It is also in fact today, some of our parents, sometimes they provide, we should say, the tensions to our students, particularly the conscious guardian, they thought that their children should be a good man. Particularly good man means that they should get a prestigious position in our society. Their ambition is that they should be doctor, an engineer, an IS officer, and so and so. But the ambitions of the students, aims, objective emotions of the students, we never consider. We consider only our, that means the aim and emotions of the parents. Sometimes we impose some kind of burden, I should say some burden, some kind of tension to our students. But friends, it should not be actually. A parent, a true parent should be always the friends, philosopher, and guide of the students. So every parent, they should play the role of actual or the positive role of guide, positive role of philosopher, positive role of friends. Sometimes some kind of bad news, such as the suicide of the students, murder of the students, such kind of news we read in our newspaper. So if you go through, if you examine the fact, then we will find that the students are under tension, under stress. So in this way, if they are committed suicide or other bad works, so indirectly the responsibility goes to the parent. So first of all, as I thought, that our parents should play the role of philosopher guidance. I mean, say the friends. You means that means the parents should play. They should always make effort first to build the character of the students. The second, the mental health of the students. Third, the attitudes of the hardworking. If the attitudes of the hardworking develop, and the parent help the students to develop the hardworking attitudes, then in future, all the students will able to adjust themselves in the new situation, or they will able to solve all the problems. We should not try to fulfill our interest with the help of our students, but we should encourage our student to fulfill their own interest, own aim and objection. So friends, I think this seminar will bring a positive good result to us. I am once again very thankful to all the participants and also the resource persons gathering here to discuss the important matters. From the family of Mahavai Circles, I once again for my all participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very informative and insightful speech. And thank you for inaugurating the session. Gaurav sir. I have already mentioned in the today's morning webinar that some technical issues are going on from Guwahati. So sir has left due to the technical issues. So within a minute, he will join again. Please bear with us. This is a technical issue. Sorry for that. Ornab Setia.
Yes, sir.
Ornab Setia.
Yes, sir.
Please find.
Sir is not connected yet.
Yeah. He has already joined, but due to network issues, he has again disconnected from us. Whatever it is, within a short time he will join. You just contact me.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, yes. Hello.
Joined.
Oh, he has just contact us because he is disconnected from his PC, so trying with the mobile.
Dijan Madhav Nahil Nagi. Hello. Dijan Sharma.
Madhav Sharma is not.
Madhav Bora. He's not present.
Madhav Bora is not present yet
Okay. Thank you very
due to
much.
maybe some technical issues.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or he may be joined, but by
Hello. Joined.
Please do something by appointing another person up to the joining of Dr. Das.
hello, Jayanta Das sir. Jayanta Das sir. Respected participants, you are requested to bear with us because due to some technical issues, our resource person has disconnected from his PC. Now here he is trying to join with his mobile phone. So please bear with us.
Mr. Jayanta Kolita, please do
Yes.
something. Please do something up to the joining of Dr. Das.
Yes.
Please you appoint another person for the timing to saying something. Otherwise, the participant will feel something bored. Actually.
That's right, sir. But we have only one resource person today.
Okay.
So on behalf of our organizing committee and from both of the colleges, our principal is due to some unavoidable circumstances, he is not present today.
Okay.
If possible, sir, you can continue.
Oh, should I continue?
Yes, sir.
Actually, this topic is very important. As I earlier said you that as a principal of the college, I have seen that some of the students, our college, not only our college, some of the students, they are beyond control into some extent sometimes. So if you find the reasons of the beyond control in the sense that they are not regularly attend the classes, they they use the unexpected plots or the ride that 3 or 4 person in a bike And also when we ask them why you are doing so, and I also call their parent in sometimes to the college about the behaviors of their students, their pupils. Then I find that actually the parents are not giving them proper guide. So most of parents, they are uneducated, particularly in our locality, that my college, where my college is located. They actually do not know how to guide their students. What should be provided to their students? Even when I call the guardian meeting to the college, very minimum guardian presence in the college. When they do not present, we do not discuss clearly about their problems. So until the guardian do not make conscious themselves, then the process we cannot solve. The mental, one is saying the mental stage. Who are taking the mental stage? Actually, the mental states are taken by those students who are actually very brilliant, very good in readings. They thought that I should do any things in the future. So they are taking actually, you can say tension or the stress. The stress is always there. Every conscious students, every brilliant students, every the students who have the high ambition, they are taking stress, they are taking the tension. So now our question is that how we, not only the parent, how we means the we teachers, we the conscious persons of our society, and with the principals, we
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Sir has already joined, but
Okay,
we are unable to identify him because of some issues. Maybe he has not joined by his name.
Yes.
So I request Mr. Arunav Setia to unmute all the participants so that we can identify the resource person voice.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I allow the participant to unmute themselves.
Yes, I'm Dr. Das here. Can you hear me? Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir, you are clear.
Yes, sir.
And am I visible also?
Yes, sir.
What you can do, you can, the
Yes,
host,
sir. Yes, sir.
host can instruct other participants to unmute, mute. It should not be controlled centrally. Let the
Yes, sir.
mute.
I mute now. I mute other participants.
Okay, sir, it is done.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are clear.
I'm really very sorry for all these inconveniences. Actually, last night we had a major storm here in Guwahati. After that, there was a major breakdown in Wi-Fi connectivity. So somehow I could connect initially, but later on it again got disconnected. So I think Professor Hazarika, let him continue, I suppose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before you start, sir, I have something to say.
Yeah, please.
Now we are happy that you have connected with us.
Let my voice button remain in an unmute state. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now you are, sir, you are co-host now. You can do yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Respected
Am I
participants.
visible to some of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You are
sir.
visible and
You're
audible.
visible.
Okay.
Okay. Respected participants, we have already known that this is not in our hands because this is a technical issues. So now resource person is already entered and he's with us. So before inviting our resource persons, I would like to highlight.
I think I'm sorry
highlight
for
some-
interrupting. Sorry for interruption. I think all these formalities can wait. You see, there should not be any formalities. I am a part of you. I don't require any kind of introduction. What I would suggest, let us discuss quickly because you never know what happens after 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. I've
That's
been
right,
doing
sir.
lot of webinar, and last few days I'm finding a lot of difficulties. Anyway, go ahead, please.
Okay. Respected participants, just let me 1 or 2 minutes to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Jayanto Das. He is an academic. I would like to highlight about his academics and social and cultural and about the media also. Very briefly, I would like to say he is a senior consultant psychiatrist practicing for the last 30 years, founder president of Mon Niramoy and the president Indian Association of Private Psychiatry State Branch and national co-chairperson of School Mental Health Division of Indian Psychiatric Society and ex-president of Indian Psychiatric Society Assam State Branch and ex-national chairperson of Media and Psychiatry and Sleep Psychiatry Division of Indian Psychiatric Society and attends various national and international conferences, seminars, and SMEs as chairperson, speaker, or delegate. As the in social side, I would like to say something about his career. Dr. Jayanta Das is a permanent resource person of Academic Staff College of Guwahati University since 1993. Deals regularly with mental health of college students and role of teachers in handling the issues of mental health in the adolescent populations. Attends schools, colleges, different social organizations and social forums highlighting issues of mental health awareness and promotion of positive mental health. Is closely and actively associated with different social organizations. He was associated with Association for Social Health in India and also Awas project of Assam Police. He was also the past honorary program advisor of All India Radio. Launched an organization, Mon Niramoy, on 22nd April 2016, which is a community mental health care foundation, a Dr. Jayanta Das initiative of promotion of positive mental health in the society. In the cultural side, he is an active theater lover, loves theater, music, and movies. He has acted in various stage theater, telefilm, TV series, and movies. He acted in the movie Kathanodi that received international acclaims and won the national award for the best regional film in 2016. His latest movie, Katha Kakadev Bindas, released 2 months back. Most recently completed shooting for 2 new movies like Seventh String and Adjuncto Electron. So in the side of media, occasionally pens down poetry and articles, columns in different newspapers and magazines. A regular columns writer in Assam Tribune newspaper, who is published every fortnightly. Also spreads awareness about different mental health issues on television and radio by participating in various talk shows. So we are very happy to have such an eminent and experienced persons as a resource persons to discuss in the today's webinar. So on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to invite and welcome Dr. Jayanta Das sir to deliver his speech. May I request Dr. Jayanta Das sir,
Thank
please?
Thank you so much for all these nice words that you have spoken about me. I mean, thank you so much. And good afternoon, rather I should say almost good evening, all the participants. And it's a huge participation that I have noticed in the webinar page. So let me first of all congratulate the organizer for choosing specifically this topic. Okay, because usually we tend to ignore the children's problem or problem of the adolescents, especially school going children and adolescents who are attending the initial level of the college classes. Now you see, there is a myth in our society. As a whole, we have a great stigma towards mental health and mental illness. In our society, whenever we tend to discuss the mental health issue, we usually try to hide it. We feel that this is a kind of a topic which need not be discussed publicly. There are a lot of stigma, superstition, unscientific temperament, Bhranto dharana, a lot of wrong informations, wrong concepts are attached to the mental health and mental illnesses. But this is a very, very important area nowadays, without which we just cannot ignore mental health. It's a very definition of health is like this. Health is a total physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely an absence of a disease. Just because someone doesn't have an identifiable disease at this particular point of time doesn't necessarily mean that he is a healthy person. To consider health, we have to see a person in totality. You see, his physical health, physical well-being, mental well-being, and social well-being, all in all aspects. Now, one of these important aspects is, as you have noticed, is mental health. Now, you see, but because of so many reasons, there are so many historical reasons, this is not the proper platform to discuss why we have been ignoring mental health in our day-to-day life, why we have been ignoring and attaching so much of stigma and wrong concept towards the mental health and mentally ill people. That requires a lot of discussion and a lot of deliberation. But time has come to remove this. Why? I just would like to share with you. In 2005, there was a study in India where it was disclosed that 60 million people in India in 2005, I'm talking about, they were suffering from different kind of a psychiatric or mental health problem. And at that point of time, it was found that out of 60 million people, only 10% of the population, they could get access to the primary basic mental health care services. Okay. At that point of time, there were 3 psychiatrists per million population. Now, because of that, later on, Government of India initiated another study, which was the leadership was taken by National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. You must have heard about it. Shortly, we tell this is a NIMHANS Bangalore. Now, this report came in 2016. Now, can you imagine the number of incidents, the prevalence rate, which was 60 million population in 2005, it increased up to the 150 million population in 2016. And at that point of time, it was expected, probably by the span of 11 years, as the numbers of patients increased, probably the psychiatric health services, primary healthcare services would be accessible to most of the population living in different parts of our country. But unfortunately, it will surprise all of you. Even in 2016, it was found that only 10% of the population, they could access to the basic primary health services of psychiatry or mental health care services. 90% population in our society who requires basic mental health care services, they are deprived of getting these services in our society. Now, having said that, you see, as I have already mentioned you, we feel that it is the elderly population, maybe after 30 years of age, or maybe after 25 years of age, people will suffer from mental illnesses or different kind of mental issues. Or probably stress is a phenomena which affects the job, job seeking people or who are attending the job in their 30s or in the late 20s. But it is not so. Let me give you an example. You see, today, globally, 16% population belong to 10 to 19 years of age, 16% population. And 6% population globally, they belong to 0 to 14 years of age. 10 to 19 years, 13% population. So from that perspective, by 2050, in most of the middle income country, the majority of the population would be young people. And in India, all of you know that today we have more younger generations, more younger people than the elderly population or middle-aged population. Now, out of this population, roughly, if today we take in statistics, roughly 20% of population, I'm talking about children and adolescents, they suffer from different kind of a psychiatric or mental health problem. But the sad part of it is, the unfortunate part of it is this: out of this population, 50%, they do not get diagnosed properly in proper time. They are not accessible to the mental health care services. So it is only the tip of iceberg, which I have given you as in the form of status. That means not many population in our society, school going children and young population, they are suffering from different kind of a psychiatric disorder, and they are not noticed by the policymaker, and more importantly, they are not noticed by the parents and even school teachers also. And that is why, if you have, while my introduction I was giving by Joint Kolita, you must have noticed at one point of time last year, even this year also, school mental health is a very important issue, and I have taken this in the national level. I am a part of this school mental health services. Now, I'd like to again share few instances of the problem, which is, now World Health Organization has reported that mental health disorders are one of the leading cause of disability worldwide, and 3 of the 10 leading cause of disability in people between ages 15 to 44 years are mental disorders. Between 15 years to 44 years, the major problem is mental disorders. The prevalence and pattern of mental and behavioral disorder show a gradual change from children to adolescents. You see, the problem which afflicted children, it is an ongoing process. And as he grows up and as the transition occurs from children to adolescence, his problem starts magnifying in a different dimension. All of you belong to the fraternity of education, and all of you are aware the transition from childhood to adolescence is the most difficult period of any human being in this earth. So that is why this is the age, or this is the period where they require maximum attention, maximum care from the parents and from the world of education. But unfortunately, we just do not provide the necessary services or necessary care that is required. Now, 1 in 6 people with mental disorder are aged between 10 to 19 years. Mental health conditions account for 16% of the global burden of disease and injury in people aged 10 to 19 years. From childhood to adolescence, the prevalence rate increases from 1.2% to 10 to 20%. The magnitude of the mental disorder in child and adolescents varies in different countries, and India is not lagging behind. These variations across different countries can be attributed due to the difference in genetic, in gender role, in education level, and differences of policy making by the advocacy who does for the psychiatric or mental health services, disorders of substance abuse disorder, etc., etc. The commonly seen disorders. Now, commonly seen disorders in childhood and adolescence, especially children, age group, are mood disorder. There one condition which is known as the mood disorder, and second problem, very common problem, is anxiety disorder, then different kind of behavior disorder, and also substance abuse disorder. And depression is not lagging behind, and depression is also very common among this population. We feel that depression can affect only the middle-aged group or elderly population, but this is absolutely a myth. We must take into consideration that any age group. I can tell you one example. An 8-year boy from a rural part of in Dorang district once was brought to my clinic, who attempted 8 times to commit suicide. He contemplated suicide 8 times, an 8 years boy. Fortunately, the teacher concerned, he came to know about this boy who was teaching him, and he was brought to my clinic. You can imagine an 8 years boy attempting to suicide for 8 times. So therefore, globally, depression is one of the leading causes of illness and disability among the adolescents. Among 15 to 19 years old, self-harm or suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death. In world, the 3rd leading cause of death among the age group between 15 to 19 is depression, and suicide is very common among this group. Nearly 90% of the world adolescents live in a low or middle income countries, and more than 90% of adolescents suicides are among the living here. Neurodevelopmental disorders like ADHD, that is attention deficit hyperactive disorders. Nowadays, this is a very common terminology. Intellectual disability, autism are found in different age group of the children. Now, children and adolescents are especially vulnerable to sexual violence, which is a clear association with detrimental mental health. Anxiety is the 9th leading cause for adolescent age group between 15 to 19 years and 6th for those between 10 to 14 years. Somatic symptoms are very often associated with emotional disorder. Many children and adolescents, they will present their mental health issues through certain somatic problem, like not feeling well, like feeling tired, not being able to concentrate in their studies, having a temper tantrums, irritability, loss of appetite, withdrawing from the parents, withdrawing from the classroom. All these issues needs to be focused. And childhood behavioral disorders are the 2nd leading cause of disease burden among the young adolescents and 10 to 14 years age. So I can go on reading, but let me tell you, we just cannot ignore the problem that is, affects our children at various age group, cutting all sections of the society, cutting all genders, and cutting all socioeconomic status. Now, see, what are the common phenomena when we talk about why these young children are vulnerable? You see, let me tell you one thing. When we discuss about human illness or human problem, be it stress, be it depression, be it anxiety disorder, or be it any kind of a disorder that we talk in our society, which exists in our society, it is said that human illness has its roots in the 3 basic elements of the human nature. Basically, a human being is a biological entity. And secondly, because he has got a mind, he is a psychological entity too. And since a human being lives in a society, he is a social animal. He survives and he grows up in a social milieu. So he is a social animal too. So it is said that it is the complex interactions of these 3 sets of forces which gives rise to a particular kind of a problem in the society. So when we talk and discuss about mental health issues or mental health problem, this particular model, which is known as biopsychosocial model, is more aptly applicable. That means any individual having a mental health issues has got to do with the 3, a component: biological, psychological, and social component. And it is the complex interactions which give rise to a particular problem. Now, when a baby is born, he grows up in an environment which is provided by the parents at home. Then by the age of 6 years, he starts going to the school and his first exposure to the society starts. And all the issues, all the factors which is related to world of education, starting in the school premises, with the involvement of the teachers who play a surrogate father, role of a father, will influence his growth of mind subsequently from the age of 6 years. And this will continue up to the age of 18 years. Now, children, all these experiences starting from home up to the school and college level will, either put some negative or some positive aspects in the growth of his personality and or growth of his psychological traits. Now, depending on that, the outcome will be either that person, individual, will have a healthy personality, or at some time he may have an unhealthy or disordered personality. Now, you see, one of the components of this biopsychosocial model is, biology. When we say biology, just straight away going into it, because the time is very short and, talking in a devices, I think it's a little difficult. So I'm going straight away. When we talk and discuss about the mind, brain is the seat of the mind. Now, the brain, we discuss, or if you imagine any mental faculties like thinking process, decision-making capacities, intelligence, memory, and perceptions of the whole surroundings by the indriyas, all the sensory inputs that is perceived through ear, through eyes, and these are finally synthesized and sent back to in the form of information to the brain. And then all the emotions, you name any emotions, you name any feelings, all these are related to brain. Now, brain is the seat of the mind. Now, you see, there was an understanding, there was a feeling that brain is a finished product. Once a baby is born. Once a human being born, he comes with a brain, and whatever brain he possesses, he continues to grow with that to a certain period. And after that, brain development has got nothing to do with his personality or with his psychological traits or mental makeup. But the good news is that it is not so. You see, it is said nowadays that while in the construction of the brain, nature or the God has given us the construction material. While in the construction of the brain, God or nature supplies the raw material, but it is the nurture which acts as an architect to put them together. You see, therefore, brain is not a finished product when a baby is born or when a child is born. And as he grows, the kind of an environment that we can provide as parents, the kind of an environment that we can provide as a teacher in the school settings, the kind of a stimulation, neurocognitive, we call it neurocognitive stimulation, that we can provide to a growing child in the school premises, in the college level, matters a lot for the development of that child to a healthy person having a healthy mind and healthy mental health issues. Therefore, we need to take care of a child from the very beginning, starting at the family atmosphere, starting by the parenting style, which is a very important issue nowadays. Healthy parenting has got to do with the healthy mental health issues. So you see, let me read it out. What are the major, which can be the major cause of play a role as a, see the one environment defines the brain, one brain, and without an environment with emotional care and cognitive stimulation, the human brain cannot develop. So the basic thing is that whether we discuss about the stress, whether we discuss about the anxiety disorder, or for that matter, any behavioral disorder or depression, we must think how we can provide, how we can take care of, without creating an abusive atmosphere for the child, how we can, adopt a healthy, effective parenting for the children from very beginning at house. The childhood trauma, you see, in a way, most of the childhood psychopathological and childhood mental disorders develop because of the negative and pessimistic environment influence on the developing brain. If we provide them a negative atmosphere or environment, if we provide them a pessimistic environment, if you provide them a traumatic experiences in their growing years of development, then there will be definitely a lot of issues related to stress or all the problems that I have mentioned. Childhood trauma, neglect, sexual and physical abuse. I underline these two words. Sexual abuse, which is very common in our society, but we tend to ignore it or we tend to hide it under the carpet. And we need to discuss about it. Sexual abuse and physical abuse. The very common form of bad parenting, unhealthy parenting is abuse. This abuse can be in many forms. In extreme form, it can be physical abuse, it can be verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is very common in our society, comparing him with other children and other students, threatening him, using all these rough and rude words. All these are very knowingly or unknowingly is done by the parents at the parenting level at different homes. So physical abuse, bullying is very common in different schools. Mental disorders in parents, broken family, dysfunctional family. Nowadays, because of the change in the social norms, because of the changes in the societal pattern, because of the changes in the lifestyle, we have seen a lot of families are experiencing an atmosphere of broken family or dysfunction family. This has caused a lot of trauma for the growing children and a lot of stresses they are exposed to. Inhuman living conditions, socio-economically disadvantageous situations where children have to live and to grow in an inhuman living conditions. Displacement in the childhood, children exposed to war and conflict. We have in Assam last 20 years or before so that because of the insurgency and because of the situation, a lot of children were effect of this conflict, if not directly direct conflict of war, but it was I had the experience of dealing all these children through counseling under the leadership of Assam Police. So conflict, etc., are some of the negative environment issues that lead to many of the mental health issues in the children. So basic point is that what I'd like to drive through this seminar or webinar is that, see, first of all, we must recognize and we must talk about mental health problems for all age group without any hesitation. Amar kono লাজ বা শংকা থাকিব নালাগিব, সংকোচ থাকিব. There should not be any hesitation. If we feel that one of our relatives, some of my family members, if I feel or it comes to my mind, maybe having some behavioral problem, maybe suffering from anxiety, depression, or maybe having some stresses, then we must take the leadership or initiative to talk about these issues and take him or her to proper treatment platform. Secondly, as I have already mentioned you, children and adolescents, they are the most vulnerable section of our society, and they are the major chunk of population of our society, as I have already mentioned you. So therefore, these are the group which requires maximum care, maximum nurturing, not only to prevent lot many psychiatric or mental health problems, and also since their brain is in a developing stage, they are, what happens when brain develops, there are connections, develops inside the brain. We have 100 billion cells inside the brain and trillion of connections of the nerve fiber inside the brains. They all constitutes, along with the different chemicals which are secreted inside the brain, they all constitute all the mental faculties, either quality or any quantitative changes inside the brain, any disruption in the connections, any disruption in the wiring process of the brain with different neurons and neuronal junctions causes a lot of problem. Therefore, our main objective to be, provide them a very, very positive environment, starting from the home level, by a healthy parenting. A very effective scientific parenting should be provided to them. And also we should adopt certain curriculum in the school level and which can be accepted to the college level also. Teachers has to play a very proactive role in development or taking care of or nurturing the children of school going and college going students. Now let me tell you, for example, we are now talking about stress. Stress is a part of life. It is not that every stress makes us weak. Rather, we say when we face stress or challenges, it helps us to emerge stronger. The God has given us a quality or adaptive ability by which we can adapt with any kind of stresses, and we negotiate or navigate through stress, and we march forward or we progress forward. But there are certain individuals for whom it is a little difficult to negotiate or to navigate through the stresses. For them, because of so many reasons, as I have told you, because of developmental process, because of the developmental process inside the brain, because of unhealthy parenting, and all the issues that I have mentioned, they can become little vulnerable and they cannot handle stresses as like any other people who can handle. Now, for them, we have specific curriculum. For example, in school level, we can introduce life skill education through which we can teach or we can equip each and every children, each and every student, how to negotiate in life, how to cope with different stages of life, how to communicate in a healthy way. So there are 12 schedules through which we can introduce all these in curriculum. Another aspect is that while we discuss about the education, we have a feeling that education is only imparting whatever textbook has given us, and that is enough. And if if a student can produce it at the end of 1 year with an structured learning, and if he can produce it in an annual examination, and if he can do it good, then probably we say, okay, he is intellectually matured, he is good student, and he can thrive in his life. It is not so. See, objective of education should the first objective that education should be able to provide the intellectual maturity for each and every children or every student. Secondly, education should be able to make every student emotionally mature. It should be emotionally mature. And thirdly, education should be able to make every individual matured in social skills also. Unfortunately, in our system is knowledge linked outcome. Means we give a knowledge for structured learning in a stipulated 365 days. And then we expect that if you can produce, that is fine. It is not so. It is proved nowadays beyond any doubt that no matter how intellectually mature a student is, how intelligent a student or how bright a student in his study is, if that student or if the child is not emotionally matured or if he is not matured in social skills, that child is not going to be a successful and is not going to be happy in his life. So it is, as well as parents and as well as teachers, they should also focus that it is not only, teaching them or imparting the whatever written in the textbook. It is also emotional aspect and it is also the social skill aspect which needs to be cared. And if we can do so, no matter what kind of stresses come in their life, they will to overcome, navigate or negotiate with all these stresses and they can march forward. Stress is a part of life. We cannot just remove it. It is, of course, sometimes the frequency, sometimes the intensity of the stresses causes certain harm. But if we know how to overcome the stresses through all these techniques, so that is why I feel strongly that today's webinar, where most of all of you are from the Department of Education. Of course, you teach in a college department, but definitely you can talk with your colleagues, with your family members, and all those teachers who are teaching in the school level. That yes, school mental health. Let us try to identify your student in the classroom, whether he is behaving somewhat differently, why he is not being able to pick up his studies, is he silent, why he is silent, why he is irritable, why he is not being able to concentrate in his studies, why he is sleeping, he is deteriorating in his performance. All these needs to be evaluated, and I'm sure if we go inside the mind of the child, if we go and see his background, family background, how he is developing, what are the issues in the family, how the parents are reacting, and how the parents are taking nurturing, and all these issues can be, I think, tackled. So that's why I congratulate you for choosing this particular subject, where mental health professionals like me and you, 400 plus participants, we can always collaborate and we can always help our society in a better way, because children are the most and adolescents are the most vulnerable section of the society, where they are suffering from stresses or whether from other different kind of disorders. As I have already mentioned you, they are not lagging behind. They have a lot of problems. It is only that we need to identify. It is only we need to tell the parents, let us talk about it. Let us discuss about it. Let us identify, create an environment at the family level so that your child, your son or your daughter, they don't feel hesitate to talk to you. You should be a father which is warm. You may be firm in imposing certain discipline, but you should not be authoritarian or you should not be authority figure for your children. You should be a warm figure who is always ready to guide help, seeking help with your warmth. So therefore, minus abuse and abusive atmosphere, a healthy democratic atmosphere in the family, and being able to identify their emotional need. Emotional need to key. Emotionally disturb and moment you identify, please do not postpone and do not try to hide it under the carpet. Immediately talk about it with your nearest experts who deal with all these issues, and encourage your child, inspire your child. You see, there is a dictum while we talk about education. A mediocre teacher tells, a better teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, but a great teacher inspires. We need to inspire our children. We need to inspire our students, and we need nothing to do anything else. We need not teach them. If we can inspire them, and that is applicable not only at the school premises or college premises, that is applicable for family level, for the parents also, because parents are the Adi Guru. And of course, the important gurus are you, the teachers. I think I have talked quite a lot. It is very difficult to concentrate in a webinar discussion. So I think I'd like to stop here for today. And if you have any queries, I'm ready to answer. I don't have any time constraint. I can go on talking unless you have some issues. So thank you so much for providing me this platform and being able to, interact with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was very insightful and thought-provoking and very benefited, and you enlighten us. And this is actually, it will be more beneficial if the participants directly ask question to you. So I request all the participants.
Was there audible all throughout the deliberation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay.
Now I request Ornab Setia to unmute all the let the permission to unmute the participants themselves.
Yes, sir. It is given now. Yes, sir. It is given now.
Respected participants, you are allowed to unmute yourself if you have any query regarding this topic. As I have already discussed from his side. So if you have any query, then please proceed. Now the session is open for all.
নমস্কাৰ স্যাৰ মই ডক্টৰ বীৰেন চৌধুৰী বাউখী বাণীকান্ত কাকতি মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ পৰা কৈছো একচুয়ালি মোৰ কোনো কোৱেশ্চন নাই কিন্তু দাস ছাৰে যিবিলাক কথা কৈছে অতি গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ দাস ছাৰৰ মই আগতেও প্ৰগ্ৰাম চাইছো অতি ভাল ভোকেল হয় তেখেতৰ লেকচাৰ বিলাক ইনফৰমেটিভ তেখেতৰ লেকচাৰ বিলাকে আমাক এনকাৰেজ কৰে আৰু তেখেতৰ জ্ঞান সমৃদ্ধ যিটো তেওঁৰ লেকচাৰ বা তেওঁৰ বক্তৃতা সেইবিলাকে আমাক আপ্লুত কৰে আৰু নতুন জ্ঞানৰ ভাণ্ডাৰ প্ৰদান কৰে ধন্যবাদ ছাৰ ধন্যবাদ দাস ছাৰ আপোনাক বহুত ধন্যবাদ ছাৰ
Thank you.
Hello, sir, Kalita sir. Hello, Kalita sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Hello. Hanif Chaudhary, call.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind information. We have talked a lot about the students, their parents, and lot of problem our students are facing today. Sir, hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Yes, you are audible. Continue.
Yes, I want to know, sir, would you kindly mention some immediate step, physiotherapy, meditation, which we can relax our students in lockdown, in COVID-19 pandemic, as they are staying at home, sir.
Okay.
They are not engaged their study.
Okay,
they waste their time getting mobile. Sir, please.
Right.
Please, sir.
Okay.
Sir, hi.
প্ৰত্যেকজন ষ্টুডেণ্টে ৰাতিপুৱা উঠা আৰু ৰাতি শোৱা এই ৰুটিনখন একেবাৰে সুন্দৰকে বজাই ৰাখিব লাগিব ঘৰত আছো কাৰণে যেতিয়াই তেতিয়া উঠিম আৰু যেতিয়াই তেতিয়া সেইটো নহব দুই নম্বৰ কথা ৰাতিপুৱা শুই উঠি স্কুললৈ যাবলৈ যেনেকে যিখানে প্ৰিপেয়াৰ কৰে স্কুল কলেজৰ বলা ঘৰখনৰ লগত তাৰ পিছতে তেওঁলোকে যিখিনি নিয়মিত ৰাতিপুৱা আৰু গধূলি পঢ়া শুনা সেইখিনি কৰি যাব
Hello, sir.
Hello.
As an international webinar, sir, it should be spoken in English.
Hello,
are you hearing me, sir?
I request participants to does not speak in between.
নিয়মিত কাৰ্য সেইকেইটা ভালকে কৰিব দিনটোৰ ভিতৰত কোনোবা এটা টাইমত অলপ এক্সাৰসাইজ কৰিব খোজ কাঢ়িব বা ব্যায়াম কৰিব দিনটোৰ সময়ত কোনোবা এটা সময়ত যিকোনো খেল এতিয়া আউটডোৰ খেল বন্ধ আছে ঘৰৰ ভিতৰতে কেৰম লুডু যিকোনো খেল খেলিব আৰু এই খেলসমূহ ঘৰৰ পৰিয়ালৰ বৰ্গৰ মাজত খেলিব লাগে আৰু তৃতীয় কথা মাক দেউতাকৰ মাজত এটা সমন্বয় ৰাখি কোনোবা এটা সময়ত বিভিন্ন কথাৰ আলোচনা হ'ব লাগে এই কথাবিলাক ইনস্পায়াৰিং আলোচনা হ'ব লাগে যিবিলাকে মনত এটা উদ্ভাৱনী দিয়ে আৰু মনত কিছুমান ইতিবাচক কথাৰ সঞ্চাৰ কৰে নিজৰ দেউতাকে নিজৰ জীৱনৰ উদ্দেশ্য মানে যিখিনি ভাল লগা কথা সেইখিনি ক'ব পাৰে পুৰণা এলবামৰ হেৰি চাব পাৰে আৰু টিভি চাবলৈ মই মানা কৰা নাই কিন্তু টিভি চোৱাৰ সম্পূৰ্ণ এটা ৰেষ্ট্ৰিক্টেড সীমাবদ্ধতাৰ মাজত চাব লাগে আৰু পৰাপক্ষত নিউজটো দিনটো গোটেই চাই থাকিব নালাগে বৰ্তমান কোভিডৰ নিউজটো গোটেই দিনটো চাব নালাগে ঘৰৰ কোনোবা এজন সদস্যই দিনটোৰ ভিতৰত এবাৰ নিউজটো চাই সেই নিউজৰ যি সংক্ষেপ যিখিনি সামাৰি সেইখিনি ঘৰৰ মাজত প্ৰচাৰ কৰিলে হয় ল'ৰা ছোৱালীয়ে নিজৰ মাক দেউতাকক বা মাকক শিক্ষণত সহায় কৰিব পাৰে ৰন্ধা বঢ়াও শিকিব পাৰে স্কুলৰ সময় নাই এতিয়া বাৰিষা বতৰ তথাপিও সৰুকে বাৰী এখন আছে সেই বাৰীখনত অলপ কাম কৰিব পাৰে লিখা মেলাৰ প্ৰতি কোনোবাৰ যদি মনোযোগ আছে সেইবিলাক কৰিব পাৰে কবিতা লিখিব পাৰে ছবি আঁকিব পাৰে চাম ক্ৰিয়েটিভ ৱৰ্ক যদি সংগীতত নিচা আছে কিবা যদি গানৰ প্ৰেক্টিচ কৰিব পাৰে গানৰ ইনষ্ট্ৰুমেণ্ট বজাব পাৰে এই গোটেইবিলাক কথাৰ মাজত দিনটোৰ এখন ৰুটিন তৈয়াৰ কৰি এনেই বিছনাত পৰি থাকিব নালাগে দিনৰ ভাগত বিছনাত এনেই কেতিয়াও পৰি থাকিব নালাগে অকলে বহি কথাবিলাক ভাবি থাকিব নালাগে নিজৰ পৰিয়ালৰ লগত সকলো কথা শ্বেয়াৰ কৰিব লাগে
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind enlightening us. Thank you very much, sir. Dhanyabad, sir. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. This is Dr. Brojendas from Arunachal Pradesh. I have a. Hello.
Yes.
Please
Hello.
go ahead.
Okay. And actually, my concern was, you see, we have problem of psychiatrists. I mean, number of psychiatrists, limited facilities are there, no doubt about it.
You're speaking from
Having said
Arunachal?
that, yeah, I am speaking from Arunachal Pradesh.
Okay, please go ahead.
Now, question is, this problem of stress differs from person to person, situation to situation. Not it, sir?
Right.
And during this COVID-19 pandemic situation, a particular type of stress has emerged among the students, particularly studying in class 10, 12, or in the final year of graduation.
What will be their future?
Because they are very much concerned about their future, in which college the class 10 students, where they will get admission, how their examination will go on, 12 students accordingly, how they will choose their future education, and the final year students of graduation, what will happen to their jobs, I mean their work after graduation, or whether they will get graduation or not, or even it is given by the universities or NCTE by virtue of promotion without having any examination, what is happening nowadays, what will happen to their future. This type of stress is emerging among these categories of students. Now, as a psychiatrist, how you will advise them, or what type of advice you will give to them to overcome this type of stress? Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for putting this question. This is a very relevant and very, very significant and important, issues nowadays. This is a very extraordinary situation. Very, very extraordinary situation. Nobody has globally, worldwide, has faced this kind of a situation before. Of course, pandemic was there before also in the history, you can see. But if we just think about in the recent times, this is a very extraordinary situation. Now the point is that if a student comes forward and expresses his anxiety and his uncertainty about the future, first of all, we have to tell him that he is not alone. It is not that he is exclusively only he is suffering from or has to face this challenge at this point of time. This is not only pan-India, this is pan-global. Students from every corner of the globe, they are facing this. Yes, we do not have any definitive answer at this moment. But, what if some X is suffering from this problem, if A is also suffering from this problem? The point is that you have to tell them that have patience, whatever is applicable for others will be applicable for you. That is number one. And number two, well, I mean, as a doctor, forget about psychiatrist, as a basic doctor, I also cannot tell you when and where it is going to finish, when it is going to end. Only thing is, I can, with a lot of positivity, I can tell you that this is not going to, remain for a end of time. So that is why we must prepare our students that You see, this is a temporary phenomena. Although this is a very suffering phenomena where we are suffering, but this is a temporary phenomena. We'll see the dawn of the light once the vaccine is there. And we have already come to know that there are certain good news so for the vaccination, vaccine preparation and vaccine discovery is there. So we must keep them positive in their attitude and positive in their mind. Telling them it is not that only you are suffering. Student is suffering, unemployed person is suffering, daily wage earner is suffering. Every section of the society they are suffering. Once it is over, and which is going to be over, then everybody will have a better life, and they will get back the rhythm of the life as it was before. And I'm sure
Hello, sir.
government of India, the people who are in the helm of policy making, they will find out some formula what to do with these children. Suppose if it lasts even for 3 months or 6 months, let us resume or presume. And definitely they will come out with a formula where students will not be affected badly. Yes, there will be some definitely. Our society
Sir, I have a query.
every century, every decade,
Myself, Manish Chaudhary, I want to know something. Please
a
respond to
section
me.
of the population, they have to take the burden. Yes, we are taking the burden of in today's time, but it is for the benefit of the future generation. So therefore, we need to prepare them in a to maintain their positive attitude, telling them that you are not alone. Everybody is suffering. Everybody is suffering, and certainly government will come out with some positive formula. If I am not wrong, you are in the field of education. You can tell me whether education system whether they will come out with some formula or not.
That's great, sir. But from our side, from teacher side, it is okay. But from the parent side, some parents they also need some type of consultancy.
The parents also needs to be told the same thing. Only thing is that you can encourage your students. One thing that they should get in touch with you. They should call you. In return, you can call me. You see, suppose you have 100 students, you can encourage to talk to you and tell them in a meeting, you can organize a meeting for half an hour and tell them whatever positive way or whatever the formula that you are talking about. Out of that 100 students, there may be still 10 or 15 students who will be vulnerable, who will not be able to digest whatever positive talk we tell. And those definitely they require certain support. In return, I can guide you, or maybe they can talk to me directly. No issue.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Hello.
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 I want to say something to
Hello,
Mr.
sir.
Jayanta Kolita.
Yes, I'm
Jayanta
hearing you.
Kolita. Acha, please.
I request.
Hello, sir.
Request
Are you
all the
hearing me?
participants- Please request all the participants to put question one by one and request them to mute their speaker when other is putting the question.
Yes.
The overlapping sound is going.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Are you
I
hearing me?
request Ornab Setia. Hello, Ornab Setia.
Hello.
Narendra Sengupta.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
hearing
yes.
you. Kishore Kumar.
Okay, sir. I have a query, sir.
You are Navendu Sengupta?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You are from?
I have a query, sir. Sir, actually, I am from Hailagaon district, Lala. Okay, so
Yeah.
I am a student of education college, second semester student. So my query is on that our textbook in our primary classes or your high secondary classes, which is I think that is very not very interesting stories, and these other things are related to this topic. So sir, so it is a very bad fact that we are very interested to learn anything which is not very interested. So sir, if you have any suggestion about it.
You see, yes, I also agree with you. Forget
Yes.
about your level of student. You see the textbook is these days. I should not be very judgmental and very critical, but I am teaching a child at my home who is not related to me, but I am because online, and I find the maths textbook इतना complicated करके present किया है, how they can have this concept, conceptual
yes.
learning is very important.
Yes, sir,
Conceptual
yes, sir.
learning has no. So therefore, yes, I do agree that this curriculum, this textbook needs to be improved or needs to be very interesting so that, students get attracted to it.
Yes,
What I
yes,
can
sir.
tell you, I can only be a part. You have to take the leadership. You in the fellow
Okay, sir,
station
thank you.
and bring notice these issues to your authority. That your opinion, these textbook are not interesting. And in that journey and in that moment, I can be a part. I can give my expert comment and complement your feelings. But
Okay,
to
sir.
bring it to the notice of the authority, it is your duty. You mean I'm not telling you as a single person. So
Okay, sir.
collectively with the people who are working in the field of education.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay, sir.
And that will
Okay, sir.
be
Thank you.
really helpful for our students.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ornav Setia.
Yes, sir.
Ornav Setia.
Yes,
Please
sir. Yes, sir.
unmute all participants. Please
Joint
unmute all the
Commission,
participants.
how many participants were there? Kiman asile participants total?
Total more than 1,000, sir.
Arey, amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I don't know only whether I could justify my presence and talk with half an hour because, I'm little afraid about the technicalities about it. Disconnect.
Sir, I think Dijan Sharma, sir, is
Yes.
some. Yes,
Second
Dijan
board,
Sharma, sir, if you want to say something.
Good talk to board, note down Korea point.
Sir, you are noticing?
Yes,
me?
yes, sir.
No, actually,
He is a very
I
good student.
I have got many things out of your speech, and that's why some important points I have noted down, and which maybe that may be very important, that may be very helpful for my students also. And you are putting some important points that the importance of home environment for maintenance of the stress of the student. The role of the parents also so much important to maintain the stress of the student. The teacher's role is, you have mentioned, school environment of the school, environment of the home, environment of whole education institution, which cover the entire largest community of our population, children and adolescents, which you have talked about. And certainly, sir, among the whole population, majority of the students, majority of the portion is that is covered by the adolescents and children. That is why we definitely have to be very careful for maintaining the stress among the students, maintaining the stress among the youth, adolescents, children. Only then we can expect, only then we can hope a stable world, I can say. Actually, in some of the socio-cultural problems, some of the political problems, which are very keen to the problem of stress management of the present youth. I think
correct.
The war environment in between China and India, that is also getting some kind of stresses among not only for the adolescents and children, but for the whole world. And they are going very excited day by day. These are some problems I can feel that which are contributing a lot.
China India problem la iman mon ogam hobo. Already repeat korise.
That is
Thank you, sir. Well, your speech
Ebilak maje maje koti thakibo. Mor khali moi olop interrupt korisu, can I?
Yes, sir, definitely.
More at a request, I want to make an appeal to all the participants who are in this webinar. You see, our this kind of a discussion or topic, that we need to take care of our children. The parenting should be healthy. School and curriculum and college teachers needs to be very proactive in nurturing these young children and adolescents. Parents needs to be educated. Parents needs to know a lot of things. Unfortunately, our discussions remains within the boundary of urban setting. আমি অকল চহৰৰ ওপৰতে বেছি focus হৈ যায়, and I am not immune to this system. মই এটো নকওঁ যে মই সাংঘাতিক কিবা কৰিছো বা কৰিব খুজিছো, কিন্তু মই কি ক'ব বিচাৰিছো আপোনালোকৰ access আছে marginalized section of the society, especially rural section of the society. A rural section of the society যিসকল parents আছে তেওঁলোকক আপোনালোকে address কৰক. I think that is very important. আমাৰ সমাজত এতিয়াও বেছিভাগ rural area আছে, এতিয়াও বেছিভাগৰ internet connectivity নাই, এতিয়া online class আছে, class হৈ আছে কিছুমান স্কুলত. How many children can be connected in online? How many parents তেওঁলোকে Android phone হেৰি আছে? গতিকে আপোনালোকে এই ফোকাস বিলাক ঠিক আছে চহৰ কেন্দ্ৰিক হ'ব লাগিব। এডুকেটেড সেকশনৰ মাজত ডিসকাস হ'ব লাগিব, কাৰণ তেওঁলোকে এডুকেটেড সেকশনক এডুকেট কৰা বেছি ডিফিকাল্ট। কিন্তু মই ভাবো আমি এই কথাবিলাক আমি গাঁৱৰ মাক দেউতাক আৰু গাঁৱৰ থকা যিবিলাক টেলেণ্ট আছে, the village are full of lot of talent, এই টেলেণ্ট বিলাকক আমি ট্যাপ আপ কৰিব লাগে। আৰু সেইটো কাৰণে আপোনালোকে এটা বেটাৰ ব্ৰিজ, মই এজন ডক্টৰ হিচাপে I will be always with you, কিন্তু I cannot get access to, মই ফিল কৰো it is the rural section of the society who needs to be addressed, who needs to be advocacy তেওঁলোকৰ মাজত বেছি। এইটো মোৰ ফিলিং, মোৰ ভুল হলে আপুনি মোক অনুকিয়াই দিব পাৰে।
না স্যার ঠিক আছে, exactly you are saying the right thing. Actually we have the responsibility and we have the responsibility to bring to throw all these things to the students already. I feel like that.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, sir. Sir, I have picked up a few questions from the chat box.
আপুনি পঢ়ি দিয়ক।
Yes, the questions are very common. Similar questions are there. ল'ৰা ছোৱালী মোবাইলৰ আসক্তি কেনেকৈ কম ছাৰ? স্কুল বন্ধৰ বাবে বেছিভাগ ল'ৰাই মোবাইল গেমত আসক্ত হৈ গৈছে। I'm reading all the questions. And second question is, nowadays all children are addicted to mobile. So how can we control these bad habits? The next one is, due to lockdown, children are very interested in mobile game. All questions are same. And the last one is, mental capacity builds up very from human to human. As a teacher, how can we energize our students who are disobedient and inborn slow learner? These are the questions for which I have picked up from the set box. Sir, please.
এডিকশন, গেমিং এডিকশন, মোবাইল এডিকশন, এইটো এটা নতুন বেমাৰ। মানসিক ৰোগৰ শাস্ত্ৰত আমাৰ মানসিক মেণ্টেল হেলথৰ যি কিতাপ, এই কিতাপত এই বেমাৰ বিলাক সন্তুষ্ট হৈ গৈছে। এজ ৱাইজ ল'ৰা ছোৱালী বিলাকে কিমানখিনি স্ক্ৰীন টাইম দিব লাগে সেইটো এটা ষ্টিপুলেটেড কৰা আছে। এই কথাখিনি ল'ৰা ছোৱালী বিলাকৰ লগত আমি মুকলি মনেৰে পাতিব লাগিব। আমি ল'ৰাটোৰ বা ছোৱালীজনীৰ পৰা মোবাইলটো টানি নিলেই নহ'ব।
Excuse me, sir.
They are engaged in mobile because they are kind of a boredom. একো কৰিবলৈ ক্ৰিয়েটিভিটি বা ক্ৰিয়েটিভ বা ষ্টিমুলেটিং কিবা কৰিবলৈ একো নাথাকে। সো সেই ষ্টিমুলেটিং বা ক্ৰিয়েটিভ কিবা এটা কৰিবলৈ ঘৰখনত এইটো ইনোভেটিভ আইডিয়া আপোনালোকৰ মাজৰ পৰা আহিব লাগিব, পেৰেণ্টছৰ মাজৰ পৰা আহিব লাগিব, খুব টেক্টফুলি, খুব ডিপ্লমেটিকেলি আৰু খুব ফ্ৰেংকলি তেওঁলোকৰ মাজত কথা পাতিব। ঠিক আছে, মোবাইলতে গেম হওক বা টিভিতে হওক চাব, মই নাচাব বুলি কোৱা নাই, কিন্তু দেয়াৰ শুড বি এ ৰাশ্যনিং। আৰু সেইটো এটা দিনটোৰ ভিতৰত এটা হলিডে থাকিব লাগিব। এইখিনি সময়ত আমি যিখিনি সময়ত জিৰণি লওঁ তেনেকে মোবাইলটোকো জিৰণি দিব লাগিব। আৰু মই অকমান আগতে কৈছো যে আমাৰ ৰুটিন এখন বনাব লাগিব। তাৰ সেই ৰুটিনৰ মাজত দিনটোৰ ভিতৰত এঘণ্টা মোবাইলে হওক টিভি স্ক্ৰীন কাটিব পাৰে। সেই কথাখিনি আপোনালোকে ইম্পজ কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব। কিয় পাৰিব লাগিব? মাক দেউতাকে ডিচিপ্লিনটো ইম্পজ কৰি গালি পাৰি নহয়, বেয়াকে তেওঁলোকক ৰুডলি কথা কৈ নহয়, তেওঁলোকক অন্যৰ লগত তুলনা কৰি নহয়, তেওঁলোকক তেওঁলোকৰ মাজৰ যিটো তেওঁলোকৰ ভিতৰত যিটো অনুভূতি আছে সেই অনুভূতি জাগ্ৰত কৰি তেওঁলোকে নিজেই বুজিব পৰা কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব যে এইটোৱে মোৰ সময় নষ্ট কৰিছে, মোৰ এডিকশ্যন হিচাপে বেমাৰ হ'বলৈ লৈছে। গতিকে এই কথাটো ইম্পজ কৰিব পৰা পৰিস্থিতি আপোনাৰ থাকিব লাগিব। নাহে আপুনি আগতে এইটো কৰিছে নাই সেইটো কয়। আৰু দ্বিতীয় কথা, তেওঁলোকক আমি ইনস্পায়াৰিং কথা ক'ব লাগিব। আমি যদি তেওঁলোকক কৰিবলৈ যাওঁতে তেওঁলোকক কণ্ডেম কৰি কথা কওঁ, এইটো কি হ'ব, গ'ল আৰু মোবাইল চাই চাই গ'ল আৰু অমুক কৰিব লাগিব, তমুক কৰিব লাগিব, খুব আমি নেতিবাচক কিছুমান কথাৰে আমি ল'ৰা ছোৱালীবিলাকক বৰ ল'ৰা ছোৱালীক হাৰ্ড কৰি কথা সবাই নাইকিয়া কৰিবলৈ হ'লেও হাৰ্ড কৰি তেওঁলোকক গণনা গাত দি নক'ব। It has to be discussed. It has to be discussed democratically, dining table. আৰু তাৰ সেইটো নিয়মটো ঘৰখনত অন্যথা যেনে নিয়ম থাকে এইটোৰ এটা নিয়ম বান্ধি দিব পাৰিব লাগিব। আৰু তেওঁলোকে কিবা কথাত বৰ্ডম হৈছে নেকি, তেওঁলোকৰ এক্টিভিটিজ বিলাক নাইকিয়া হৈছে নেকি সেইখিনিও চাব লাগিব। And then allow him to see TV. ঠিক আছে, চিনেমা এখন চোৱা, বন্ধ আছে বহুত, they can understand outdoor games নাই, কিবা এটা খেলা, অন্য খেলা। এইটোৱে কথা। আৰু এগৰাকীয়ে কিবা এটা লাষ্ট কোৱেশ্চন এটা সুধিছিলে, এইটো বৰ ক্লিয়াৰ হোৱা নাই।
Sir, sir, I request you to repeat the same because most of the participants have joined from outside Assam.
Acha, okay.
Sir, I request you to
the same mobile addiction, gaming addiction of the screen. Whether it is a small screen or a disease, nowadays a disease. In psychiatric parlance, in psychiatric textbook, this has been included as a disease, it is an illness. So what we need to do, we need to, we cannot impose discipline by accusing them, by abusing them, by comparing them with other students, by talking to them, rudely. We should not hurt them. We need to discuss that this is going to be an addiction, and why this is going to be an addiction. This must be explained to them very freely. And for that, you need to give them little time. It is not that today, if you talk to them in a nicer way, and he is going to stop, or he can be able to stop from tomorrow. No. Second point, we have to see, most of the time, they are hooked to the mobile games or mobile, other issues, Facebook, etc., because they do not have any kind of activities at home. Nowadays, the whole society has become totally different. So we need to discuss, or you need to create certain innovative activities at home. Why not start learning cooking? Why not start making some craft at home? Why not parents involved with those activities along with the children? Why not parents can talk with them in an inspiring way? And then in the discussion of that, one should remind them, see, mobile addiction is a disease, like smoking is a disease, like alcohol consumption is a disease. Similarly, excessive screen time, excessive viewing mobile is a disease. Well, there should be a holiday or some time where, like we sleep in the night time, like we sleep and take rest in the daytime, our mobile device also needs some rest. So all those kind of things should be discussed very frankly and very openly, without accusing them, without blaming them. Mind it, do not blame or do not accuse your child. Do not hurt him. Always be warm to him while even disposing or imposing discipline also. You should be little firm, but there should not be the lack of warmth. No, he should realize, oh, my father understands me, and that is why he is telling me. If you start abusing him, if you start, rebuking him, things is not going to be solved. You will be drifting away from you. You will go away from you, and he will do that even much more than even. Okay. There are a lot of things I need to speak, but then.
Thank you so much, sir. Hello, Ornav Setia. Hello, Ornav Setia.
Can we wind up, or you have more questions?
Sir, one more question. Question hours should be short.
Yes, the professor in the screen, you can go ahead with your query.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yes, please.
Yes, continue.
I have a question, sir. Actually, nowadays in Assam, it can be seen that most of the students are, in the age group of 18 to 24 years, generally, they are being addicted in lot of kind of drugs and all. And due to this, the parents are also much more concerned about their future career, as well as the teachers are also. So how you can specify and segregate them with the mental illness, or how you can advise them properly in a better limelight.
You mean to say substance abuse, drug abuse?
Yes, because it can be seen that because most of the Assams, in Assam maximum, the cases of the drugs are typically in higher number of cases in 18 to 24 years of age groups.
Okay.
So how you can segregate this mental illness? Because the parents, if they stop them, they're against with the parents. If the teachers are, then scold with the teachers also. So how you can segregate them with the mental illness part? Because once it's being stopped, it can be seen that there are a lot of the cases they have the ability to suicide. And recently, one more case, I think you have also came in the light that due to online class, the parents are unable to afford the son or maybe the daughter the smartphone or any kind of devices, due to which the children has taken the step of suicide. So is it justified, or what should be is it the approach should be done from the school government or the government of the educational society, the smartphone to the poor people who are unable to purchase a smartphone in this particular
So you have two questions. One part is that drug abuse.
Yes.
The drug abuse or substance abuse disorder itself is an entity, a different kind of an entity on its own, like anxiety disorder, like mental depression, like schizophrenia. Substance abuse disorder is a different entity. Now, in most of the substance abuse disorders, it has been found that faulty personality development, I mean personality disorder, underlying anxiety disorder, underlying depression, you see, different issues at home, dysfunctional family, broken family, abusive father, all or even certain genetical factors are responsible for that. So my suggestion, if at all any parents or even teachers notices that a student, a child or adolescent is initiating, experimenting with the drugs, because sometimes it acts as an escape route from anxiety, depression, or other, mental stresses that the child is suffering. It may be socio-economical issues, as you have mentioned. It may be family issues. It may be personal relationship issues. Nowadays, relationship with other sets, like boys meeting a girl meeting a boy, has become very easy, and they fall out also very easily. So in all these cases, they definitely require support, not condemnation. So here the parents has to take proactive role, and they need to take the child or the student or of any age to the proper platform where the proper treatment can be offered. And it is a treatment not for 1 day or 2 days. It can be, it is an ongoing process. Now, let me mention here one more thing. Many a times we feel depression, where you have the next question is connected. See, as I mentioned it, even if we feel that my son and daughter is suffering from some anxiety disorder, or he or she is not behaving normally since last 10, 15 days, not talking much, crying, or not sleeping properly, not eating properly, and we just try to say, नहीं नहीं ठीक हो जाएगा, ठीक हो जाएगा, ठीक हो जाएगा, कुछ दिन रहने दो, ठीक हो जाएगा, ऐसा होता ही है. We should not do it. The moment we feel a child is emotionally disturbed, he needs to be immediately given proper medical support or proper medical guidance. Many times हम लोग सोचते हैं कि अगर एंजाइटी होता है, डिप्रेशन होता है, ये दवाई से कैसे ठीक होगा. इस तरह का एक स्टिग्मा or myth is prevailing in our society. We feel that depression and anxiety or mental problem cannot be treated with medicine, and those medicine which will be given, they will be given only sleeping tablet, or addiction होगा, वो ऐसा होगा. These are all rubbish. These are all myths. Let me tell you categorically, depression is a illness which can be treated successfully. Now you are the girl, very unfortunate, you are talking about. Yes, she might have felt frustrated. She might have compared herself with other students whom they have, they have what is called Android phone, and this girl, she did not have. She might have frustration. She might have started comparing her own socio-economic status. Now here, the parents has to play a role. They should talk to her in an inspiring way, and if you feel that their initial inspiration is not working, they should have taken the girl to, I'm very sorry to say this, I'm not blaming the parents, but yes, for all other parents, never postpone the problem of your child or adolescents. If you find any kind of a behavior changes, deviation in their behavior, deviation in their emotional aspects, deviation in their routine biological aspect like sleeping, eating, etc., never postpone it. Never try to put it under the carpet. Always take immediate action. It is like an emergency. It is like an emergency. If your child is suffering from fever, having 103 temperature, would you stay? Would you just wait that it will go down automatically? It will subside automatically without consulting a doctor? You are not going to do that. If your child, if your son or daughter passes loose motion for 7, 8 times, then you will go immediately to your doctor. Why not in this case? If your stomach can get upset, then if you have a mind can get upset. Mind upset cannot be postponed. Rather, this is rather more emergency like any other physical situation. Obane?
Dr. Kolita,
thank you, sir.
sum up.
Thank you so much. Now I request Mr. Madhav Bora.
Yes.
Madhav Bora, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Yes, you are audible. I request Madhav Bora to propose a vote of thanks for the session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jayanta sir. Respected principal sir from both colleges, Dr. Dilip Hazarika sir and Dr. Pradeep Kumar Sharma sir. Honorable resource person of the national webinar, Dr. Jayanta Das sir. Joint coordinator, my colleague, Mr. Jayanta Kolita, my colleague fellow, Mr. Dijen Sharma sir, and Hamidur Rahman sir. Mr. Runaf Setia, technical assistant from Dibrugarh University, fellow participants, parents, and my dear students. First of all, on behalf of webinar organizing committee, I express my gratitude to today's resource person, Dr. Jayanta Das sir, for his most exciting and valuable presentation for everyone. I'm really exciting from his deliberations. So I again thanks to Jayanta Das sir. Secondly, I offer my thanks to both respected principals sir for their kind cooperation to all of her success of the webinar. And last not least, I express my gratitude and thanks to all the participants, Assam and abroad, parents, and my dear students. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhav Bora sir. I also thank you for your kind cooperation with our college to hold this webinar with your department. So I thank you again. And with this warm words, I'd like to move forward to end of the webinar. Thank you once again. Thank you all. This is the end of the webinar. The session is. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Feedback link to Didi bola Didi ba. Feedback link to mention kori dia.
Dijan.
Na feedback link to Didi.
Dijan.
Feedback link is already shared in the chat box.
Abhishek kolo jabo hokologe dhanyabad dia. From the family of Navusha College.
Hello.
Our coordinator Madhav Bora, Mazbat College Department of Education or head of the department, Jayanta Kolita, coordinator, Orna Sutia, our Dr. Jayanta Das sir, Ami Hokoluke, Mazbat Mahavidalo, Deka Motorke, Pomukuri, Azi, a seminar cannot, a webinar cannot, Honkari Hokolu. Participants loke আমি আমাৰ ফালৰ পৰা ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছো নাভেছা মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ তৰফৰ পৰা আৰু আমি আজি ৱেবিনাৰখনৰ যোগেদি সকলো অংশগ্ৰহণকাৰীয়ে যথেষ্ট নতুন দিশ উন্মোচন কৰিবলৈ সুবিধা পাইছে বুলি আশা কৰিছো আৰু এখন সফল ৱেবিনাৰ হৈছে বুলি আমি ভাবিছো ধন্যবাদ সকলোলৈকে আমাৰ ফালৰ পৰা
Thank you. All the participants are requested to fill up the feedback form which is already shared in the chat box. Please fill up the feedback forms for certificate. Session start কৰিছে মাত্ৰ start কৰোতে feedback link বিচৰা মানুহ কি তাৰমানে they are participating only for the certificate কি বুলি
ডিসকানেক্ট হয় না নি
নাই হোৱা এই feedback ফিল আপ কৰি আছে যে
আচ্ছা 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 ঠিক আছে হেৰি কি ফিডবেকটো হোৱাটসঅ্যাপ লিংকটো দি দিবা ন
মানে বেলেগত ইয়াতে ফিল আপ কৰক
ইয়াতে
অনলাইন
না হোৱাটসঅ্যাপ লিংকত
না ইয়াতে দিয়া হৈছে চেট বক্সত চাওক
ক'ত চাব লাগিব
চেট বক্সত সেটিং কৰি থাকে যে
গম পালো ইয়াত দিয়া আছে ন
hello